Hey everyone, my name is Chris Lambert, and on this channel we talk Kanye West. It is currently 1:43 a.m. I was in bed and just happened to check Twitter, and I saw Ant Clemons had tweeted, "Can't wait to drop my songs with Ye this Friday. Hashtag God is good." And I was like, "Oh, that's interesting. That's exciting. I can make a YouTube video about that tomorrow. We're gonna get some kind of music. Who knows what it's going to be?" And then Dem Joints quote tweets it with 80 degrees. Thank Ye for this joint. Real fans been waiting on this for too long. Yeah, there it is. 80 degrees is finally coming out. And I'm sure I don't have to explain that to a large majority of you. You've been waiting for this since 2018 with Yandhi, but we're finally getting the song. I don't know if Kanye is going to be on it still, if it's now just a Ant Clemons joint, and Kanye's kind of just let it go into the wind the same way that you may remember So Help Me God had all these rumored tracks, and then in 2015, Kanye just started shedding songs, giving them off to people. Piss on Your Grave by Travis Scott. There was Big Sean got a couple, and a few more that just didn't make the album and ended up out and about in the world. So maybe that's the situation here, or maybe he just, he was at least on some of those songs, right? So I don't know. Hopefully that's the case. I would like Kanye and Ant Clemons to be on the song together, but if it's just Ant Clemons with that production and beats, I'll be happy as well. Ant's great, makes some great music. So a little bit of background for those of you that may be unfamiliar with 80 Degrees. It's also known as hurricane, right? It's 80 degrees to make a hurricane, or it has to be 80 degrees for a hurricane. I think that's some of the lore behind the song. But you can see there is a Yandhi leaked version. That's how we have all of these lyrics here. That's the chorus from Ant, the verse from Kanye, and then the chorus repeating. So this song was actually previewed by Kanye on Instagram, and it was this legendary teaser that's just him, I'm pretty sure, in Chicago and then in the studio, and we just kind of see him messing around, but that beat's playing in the background, and everybody lost their minds when that went off. See, this was posted September 16th, 2018. Yeah, so it was very much in the Yandhi hype time, where we just thought, much like with the God's Country Donda album, that we're getting this album. This is the start of the music rollout. Listen to this beat. How great is this? And then nothing ever again. But now we're getting a final version. Will Ant change the lyrics? Is it just this but fleshed out more? I don't know, but we are going to find out soon, and that is fantastic news. So we have that if you want to check it out and check out the OG version, not the leak, but just what this was. That'll be down in the description. And then a little bit about Dem Joints, in case you're like, who is this person that's saying this? Dem Joints is a producer that's known, and engineer, I think, that's known for working with Dre. So when Dre was doing Jesus is King 2, Dem Joints was very heavily involved. So this article is also going to be included below. That's just Dem Joints talking about Kanye West and Jesus is King 2, which another project that Kanye announced and then bounced. So a little sad there, especially because we got that Eminem on Use This Gospel, and it seemed like we could get LA Monster. Man, I still want this project to come out. I know everybody was pumped about Yandhi and not so pumped when Jesus did the laundry and gave us Jesus is King, but I feel like Jesus is King 2, with Dre remixing all this stuff with Eminem on it, like, I want to hear that so badly. That's becoming my holy grail in terms of, can I get this album at some point and just hear what it would have sounded like? Man. Anyway, and then Ant Clemons, I'm sure most of you watching this know who Ant is, but he came onto the scene in 2018 with All Mine, right? He was friends with Jeremy, and people actually thought that it was Jeremiah. I always get his name wrong. I'm so sorry. But at first, Jeremy was credited, and then Ant got the credit because he was so unknown at the time. He was just sleeping on couches, worked his way out from Jersey, and this was like what he was doing, which is wild. And on his debut album, Happy to Be Here, on the title track song, Mama I Made It, not title track, but Mama I Made It, he ends up kind of having the voicemail from telling his mom that he's going to be on this Kanye song, and he's hearing it and like, I made the album, oh my God, and you hear the emotion in his voice. It's gonna make me tear up thinking about it because I'm emotional and I tear up about everything whenever anybody else is emotional, but you can just hear the genuine emotion in his voice. So he got to do All Mine, and now he's been like crazy in terms of writing for other people and like winning Grammys, getting awards, collaborating with some of the biggest artists. It's very much a Cinderella story. But you can see that he had some placements on Jesus is King as well, with Sella, Everything We Need, Water. Um, that's it, those three. But he was going to be huge on Yandhi. Like a lot of people reviewing that as what Yandhi would do for Ant Clemons, what 808s and Heartbreak kind of did for Kid Cudi in establishing that sound, or Travis Scott's and Yeezus, or even Chance with The Life of Pablo. Just these artists that aren't very well known at the time that get to be heavily involved and kind of help define a Kanye album. And then in the aftermath of that, kind of go on because they've created their own lane almost in this Kanye album and are able to ride the wave into pretty huge numbers, right? Looking at Cudi, looking at Travis Scott's, what Chance did in the wake of The Life of Pablo and the acclaim he gained and the attention he gained. So people were expecting that for Ant Clemons for Yandhi, and then nothing, which kind of it was happening recently with Casey Pluto. Casey seemed to have his be working a lot on God's Country / Donda LP10, right? Very involved with that. Seemed like he was going to be one of the main voices on it. And then when that gets shelved, it kind of puts a little damper on the momentum that Casey was going to have coming out of that project. But Casey's starting to drop some music now too, and even teased his music his album that Kanye West executive produced. So even if we're not getting Kanye albums, it seems like we're going to be getting projects that Kanye at least has had his hands in on around with these Ant Clemons tracks and then with the Casey Pluto stuff. So this is something to look forward to. And if you want more about Ant Clemons, I wrote this article interviewing him for Forbes. This is for the biopic Ant Clemons and the Perspective of Success. So if you want to learn more about ants and read my words, this exists on Forbes. The link will be down below, but we will absolutely, no, we won't. Maybe Travis might be covering these songs. I'm going to be gone this weekend, so I may have time Friday night when they drop. Okay, so we'll do that. Late Friday night when the songs drop, there will be a video on this channel discussing them. But if you are enjoying this channel and you want to support us, the easiest way is to like, comment, or subscribe, as those things tell YouTube this is a channel people like, and then they show it to others, which goes a long way in terms of us getting more views, more subscribers, all of that. So much appreciated. We also have our podcast, Watching the Throne, a lyrical analysis of Kanye West, where we go line by line, track by track, album by album through Kanye's discography, doing the deepest narrative and thematic deep dive and analysis that has ever been done in Kanye's discography. We went through one time and realized that we could up the ante a little bit in terms of equipment and structure of the show. Maybe some of the first albums we were figuring out what we were doing a little bit more. So we're going back through a second time. We're almost done with Graduation and we'll start into 808 soon. So if you want to forever change how you listen to Kanye's albums, then give a listen to any episode of Watching the Throne that's a song analysis. And I guarantee you, if you can make it through all the banter, a little bit of cheesiness in terms of the conversation, but get to the actual depth and narrative analysis, you're going to come away with a whole new appreciation for Kanye. And if you've heard me give that spiel a lot of times and haven't listened yet, listen or don't. I don't know. You're watching the YouTube video to this point consistently, so you're doing enough. Appreciated. We also have our movie websites, filmcolossus.com, where we explain movie endings the same way that we do with Kanye's lyrics. We were actually doing this before we got into Kanye lyrical analysis. So the most recent piece I wrote was a giant explanation of this movie called The Wailing, which is an awesome movie. It's currently on Hulu, I think, or Amazon Prime, and it has such an ending that will shock you and rock you. It's kind of like comedic psychological horror. It starts off a little lighthearted and ends in this place where you're like, what just happened to my brain? It's really cool. And currently, if you've seen the movie Perfect Blue, that's what I'm writing about. We'll hopefully have the article out this next week, but that's another great movie, psychological horror anime by the same guy that did what was it? Not Spirited Away. That's Miyazaki, but Paprika. Yeah, which is great as well. So you can check that out too. But that's it for this video. Until next time, I want you to stay wavy and please, 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 please keep it loopy. Okay? All right. Cheers.